Kumlen and Ablat Gemara. We are up to the top of the page, the Mishnah. That's Nun Beis Amud Aleph. By the way, I looked up Avram Chazor everywhere, couldn't find him. And it's still odd, even the Avera of calling Avram is referring to Avram Abinu. But why would anybody go back to the name Avram? I couldn't find it. And Chazor Rashi says the name of a place. I saw someone else say Chazor means seer. I have no idea who it is. I looked at this farm that talk about all tonight on Muraim. Just say he's mentioning it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Mishnah. So we're continuing to discuss takanas that were made over the years to benefit people. You're saying in orphans, shesamchu eitzel bal habayis, that they became close to a certain balabas. They're orphans. Obviously, they don't have any parents. Or their father, before he passed away, he set up someone to administrate all of their affairs. Chayev la'asa pay the same. So one of his duties are to make sure he gives truma ma'isa from all of their fruits. Apotrufas sheminu avi yisayim. Now sometimes the bezin would appoint this administrator, sometimes the father. So that if someone is appointed by the father, Yeshava comes the end of his term, he has to swear that he didn't take anything, he didn't pilfer. But we know Bezin appointed him, then lo Yeshava, he shouldn't swear. Ideally, you should swear, but if we're scared that people are going to hesitate becoming administrators or they have to go to a shua, nobody wants to swear, then we remove that shua. The question is, when will they hesitate? If the father appointed them or if the bezin appointed them? So according to this opinion, that if the father appointed them, they won't hesitate just because there's a shua, because there's a good reason why they accepted it. But if a bezin appointed them, doing the bezin a favor, then they'll refuse. But Abba Shaul says, just the opposite. By Bezin, they'll never refuse because they benefit having a good name. But by the father, they will refuse. Well, they need to he's my best friend, but I don't want to swear. Says the Gemara, but our Mishnah says that Patrufas has to give the shua, has to give the pay, the truma ma'isa. But I mean, that's a question. It says in Pasuk when you give truma, it says gam atem also you. So vidashin v'lo shutrin. If you have two partners, one partner cannot give the truma ma'isa on behalf of the other one without his knowledge. Or atem ladies, and the sharecropper cannot give truma on behalf of the owner his own knowledge. Atem Patrufin, the administrator cannot give truma ma'isa without their knowledge. Atem you, not if I want to take on my take truma for something that's not mine on your behalf. So it's a steer between the Mishnah and the Brisa. Rav Chizda loikasha. Kan lahacha, the purpose of giving truma is so the kids will have what to eat, and of course you're allowed to. Kan laniach, if the purpose is to do an investment or to store it for later use, that you cannot do. But Tanya proved it to says the Brisa. Hapatrufin time must give truma ma'isa lehachil in order to eat. Not even in order to store for later. They sell on behalf of the same animals. Avodim. Avodim, slaves, rishvachas, and maids, botim, houses, sudders, fields, from vineyards. Lahachil. Only if they're all want to convert it to money so that they can eat. You're allowed to sell these things. Not if you just want to have the money sitting there because first of all, or to buy things or the money might get stolen if the money just sits there, or maybe it's a pride to the family to retain the ownership of items that belong to the father instead of just converting it to money. You're allowed to sell to the orphans. The sauces, wine, oil, and flour, if they need to eat it. Not just a store. But you do mitzvahs for them, the sukkah and tzitzis. And since it's interesting from the 4 million, the only one to highlight, lulav we always do. Usually lulav incorporates the whole thing, and we have to highlight that arava as if it's some kind of special chiddush that you're buying an arava for them. With sukkah, with tzitzis, and the sukkah and tzitzis.
Was arava the same mitzvah, or arava was what you did on Shana Rabbah?
It doesn't say. It could be the same mitzvah, could be it's a Shana Rabbah. It doesn't say. In fact, it says it that most many portions don't even have this girsa. Take it out, whatever. But or they take out other mitzvahs here. Probably. You look inside the Rif, the Rush, all of them took out the word Arab. Maybe it bothered them. Maybe they understood the Rav is one of the 4 million. I mentioned it. Maybe it's in Al-Gemara, we're talking about the Arava at the end. Sukkah, tzitzis, any mitzvah that has a fixed amount, we're going to have it do it on behalf of the Yisraelim. But B'Lasuye, even Shayfer, they used to buy their own Shayfer. Of the Leishkelam Sefer Torah, you buy tefillin, mezuzahs. Hold over kids anything again that has a fixed amount. Like what do you have to say? Anything fixed amount? Lasuye Megillah, also Megillah. But the ain't poiskelam tzedakah. You don't give tzedakah. Why not? Rashi is an interesting thing because tzedakah has no end. Why? Because every moment of the day you have poor people coming along to ask for tzedakah, and it comes out if every person they give tzedakah to, they won't have any assets left. So it's clear you don't have to give tzedakah to every poor person that comes, or because you have a limit. Actually, I had a shayla just last week. Somebody called me up. He got sat down before the end of the financial year to work out his whole thing. 2 weeks ago, and he saw that I gave more than 20%. Is he allowed to give tzedakah till the end of the financial year? He's counting financial year. It's a pretty amazing shayla. Never had that shayla before. So it says clearly that if a poor person comes, you still have to give, but to go to give to a institutional that you have to. I'm a vazuz or you vazuz yesem chemish. Okay, so you want further. The ain't apatrufin are showing London l'chayv. They cannot go to a court case on behalf of the Yisraelim, which harms them or lischus or to benefit them. Benichse Yisraelim. So lischus my life. Why shouldn't he go to court to benefit the Yisraelim to defend their case? What happens? They go to court. They go to court in order to help. But it turned out to be that they actually harmed the Yisraelim. What happens? They go to court case thinking that they can help the Yisraelim. It turned out to be a failure. The court case falls apart. There's no court case anymore. They're not allowed to go ahead and sell a field that's far away. They're thinking, oh, better to buy a field that's closer, much easier to use, or a bad field and exchange it for a good field. Now, what's wrong with that? My time, but deal with maybe there's a muzzle and the wind will come and destroy this field. Right now, that's the field that they have. So you had no input. Here, if you're going to change it and things don't go right, it's sort of your fault. You're not allowed to sell the field in order to buy an eved, because an eved over time gets older and it loses value. A field always increases in value. You're permitted to sell avodim in order to have fields, because fields are a much better investment than avodim. Now Shimon Gimel says, so you shouldn't even sell avodim to sell away. My time and why? He says because maybe that what happens if tomorrow you buy a field and suddenly rumors go abound that this field is a stolen property? Now, interesting why he doesn't say why he's worried about the wind will come to destroy the fields. Because if you're talking about natural destructions, an eved definitely gets older and loses value. A field maybe yeah, maybe no. So a field might be a better, as far as a risk assessment is, might be a better investment. But here he's saying here that he's not talking about the natural thing, but maybe it turns out to be stolen. The moment you proactively do something, you have to take into account far more risks than if you do nothing. You're not allowed to set the avodim free. It's not his ever to set free. But we already had it before. But you can sell them to others. You said before, you're allowed to sell slaves to buy fields. And others can set them free. And Rebbe says, and we had this is what we had before. Rebbe's opinion is, I say, Evid is like a third party. If somebody gives the Evid money, if somebody gives that on condition your master doesn't have any thing, you treat him as a third party. The the very end of their term of being administrator, you have to give a din cheshbon as to if you pilfered anything and if everything is all right. Hashem says, they don't have to. Nor do you make an apatruf in Russian women, because women cannot handle, they don't really go outside so much and try to build up the investments of the Yisraelim or Avodim, slaves, because they're not trustworthy or talented. Kids who have no idea what they're doing. But if the father of the Yisraelim selected any one of these three, of course, there should be Yada, he can do whatever he wants. A few incidents about apatrufas. How about apatrufas? Lived in the neighborhood of Rameir. We have a number of stories in the Gemara that shows how Rameir was a real mention, how he also advocated on behalf of others. Rameir to have a Kamazbin Arata. This is up to the right thing. He sold. He did the wrong thing. He sold property. He was of an and bought slaves, which you learn you're not allowed to do. Lo Shavka Rameir didn't let him. Achvele Bechalma. They showed him in a dream. This is the dream. He dreamt this line. Ani Lahadis. Hashem is saying, I want to destroy. I want these Yisraelim to lose, and after living, and you're helping them. Rameir ignored them. Rameir had this dream. No, because what he's doing is he's stopping the administrator from selling. The word of chalem is have no effect because, and we'll have this in Gemara a few places, and Gemara Sanhedrin, other places, and sometimes we say part of the chalem is real, part of the chalem is not real. How you know what's real, what's not real, and so on. Two people, the Iglu Sutton, that the Suttons ungrades that got them all excited. The whole Beishim should imagine every Erev Shabbos we call today to have a thing called a Bain or a Bain Hashmoshes. This is where it comes from. Rashi says in a few places, not here, but that whenever it says Beis Shimsha, Rashi says Erev Shabbos, but Rashi says somewhere else. And the rule is, whenever it says Beis Shimsha, which Bein Hashmoshes? Every day has a Bein Hashmoshes. It must be the Bein Hashmoshes, the famous one, Friday. So every Bein Hashmoshes have a command Badadi. They turn into a fight. The only way that's possible is they all got together and had a Bain. Otherwise, you're living your house and my house. How do we get into a fight every Bein Hashmoshes? Ikla Meil Hasameh went to them. Akvinu, and he held them back. Flossa Beishimsha. For 3 Friday nights he was there, he held them back. Ad Shalma, until suddenly he became peaceful. It was the Satan that made sure that they're constantly fighting. Shameh, he heard the Satan say, why did the mayor come in and chase me out of this house? So it's clearly in the house, not a shul. And the neighbor would come in every Friday night and go, fuck, what's going on? Must be. What other shot is there?
I thought there was someone pushed in front of him in the line of tension.
The base in the house.
And 15 years later, someone comes over to him and says, "Do you remember that time?"
Who Apatruf is the Abish Rabbi Shmuel is Apatruf who lived in the neighborhood of Shmuel. That Kamaz Ben was selling land with Zov and Toyim. He was buying cows. Lovely, he didn't say anything. Now we said before you shouldn't sell your land, but he sold land to buy cows. He said, "This is a word. Why? Because so he heard like Rabbi Yisrael, living more Shabbat. Rabbi Yisrael, me, you're my little Kaddish. She should never call my wife my wife. Will a shady to call my cow my cow. Ella Liishti basi. My wife is in my house because she was like Keres Abayis. She ran the house. Ula shady sada, and I call my cow my field because a field without a cow is worthless. It plows and everything. How many did you say me? So they were living by their grandmother. And I saw that she took care of all their affairs. Had a cow. Chocolate was winter. Then they're like, this grandmother went and sold it on behalf of these same. Also, Kamayu, the relative, also Kraven Gavan of Nachman. Omra, they said, Maya visit to the Zivna. What right did she have to sell their cow? Omalu, you say me, she's talking about Baita. It says clearly on Mishnah. If you say me that lived by somebody, that person automatically becomes the administrator, even though he wasn't appointed. But after she sold the cow, the cow doubled in price. So she caused them a loss. So Rav Nachman says, it went up in price in the shus of the buyer. So nothing big, nothing wrong. How are they supposed to look at a crystal ball and see what's going to happen tomorrow? Well, in the Kita dummy, but they didn't get the money yet. Now, this is important. The next whole Gemara will be in Kinyonim that we have a Kinyon is money, and Kesef is one of the Kinyonim. The Chacham Takana that for an ordinary person, it's Mashiach that is kind of. Because if they give the money and they don't do Mashiach, and then there's a fire, the person who sold it and now sitting by him, he's waiting for them to pick it up, he's not going to put his life in the line to go and save it. So therefore, we made it a kind of that Mashiach is what's kind of. But when it comes to Hegdish, it's money that's kind of. So they said that now they didn't get money for this year, they didn't get paid for it yet. And they're like Hegdish, which means that money is a Kinyan. So the same, therefore, they didn't yet really sell the cow. So for one price, they should be able to take it back. But no, this comes to Rav Chanoi comes to effect. What did he say? That nechasim of Yisayim are like Hegdish. You're right. That Yisayim are not kind unless they paid money. And so their advantage to say that. So here, because they didn't yet get the money for the cow they're sold, and it went up in value, they can change their mind and take the cow back. The wine of and they paid $4 per barrel, and it did Meshicha. So as an ordinary person, they would have been koine, and after they did Meshicha, it went up in price, but they haven't paid yet. They haven't received the money yet. The Beshisha now is worth 50% up. Also, the Kavan Nachman Amul this is a case of Rabbi. Since they like Hegdish and it's money, it cements the Kinyan, they didn't receive the money, it can change their mind. So now that we said that, we're going to learn a number of cases. And we're going to give Yisayimim the advantage of Hegdish and advantage of a Hedged of an ordinary person as well, depending whichever one suits their favor, whichever one suits them better. Until Shibravidi says sometimes it doesn't, it's in the short term, they might benefit them, but not in the long term, as we'll see. In a minute. What happens if they did one kinyan? There's two kinyanim, Mashiach, which helps dragging it and putting it on. That's for your ordinary people, and then there is Kesef, which is for Hegdish. What happened? Moshe, let's talk about Mashiach. Moshe paid him a yakar. Somebody bought it from Yisayimim, and it was Moshe the Paris, and a yakar. But then it went up in value. So now the Yisayimim can change their mind. That's what, but they're like Hegdish, and they get their money, they can change their mind. Zoil, it went down in value. So if they went down, if you can say that if they didn't get the money, you can change their mind. I mean, the other person also could change his mind. The person who bought it, and he'll walk away. It went down in value. Depreciated. No, but if it's been a head, they could walk away and save themselves because no Mashiach happened yet, and because Hegdish is different, they can't. No, so we give the Yisayimim either advantage, whichever one was better for them. What about Amshichalu, who paid the Liasma? The Yisayimim were the buyers, and they made a Mashiach for themselves. Yaakov went up in value, good on them. Well, they're like a hedget, and a hedget is what? Mashiach is kind of. Abazoil went down in value, and they bought it, so now they're lost. So, what? That Hegdish is money. They didn't pay the money. They should be able to walk away. In this case, short term they'll win, but long term they won't. You know why? It's bad for them. Sometimes they'll need fruits, and people will say, "Hey, if you don't give us the money, if it goes down the value, you're going to walk away." We're not selling you cash up front. Cash up front. No, only COD. No more credit. But like the earlier idea of Zuzah, what if they don't have money at the time? Long run, it's going to hurt them. So don't necessarily always have to do what's right. Do what's best. Yovi asked me, let's go the way around. Yovi asked me, Zuzah, let's say they gave money, but no Mashiach. I paid it, they bought something with money, Zoil went down in value, then they should be treated like a head you did with Mashiach. A head you can walk away, so too they can walk away. A Yaakov went up in value, and they want to be able to make sure that they should retain, even though they didn't do Mashiach. What? That Kesef, like Hegdish, and therefore, they're good luck. Again, short term they might win, but long term it doesn't make sense. It's bad for them. The Asal Memelu, people will say to them that if you buy with money and we can no longer change our mind, you didn't do Mashiach yet, and we can no longer change our mind, then why in the world should we intervene if something happens to your fruits? Let's say it's your week that person is not going to help you out. Okay, Yovel is usually asked the other way around, that somebody bought from the same gave them money. Yaakov went up in value and they want to change them and a hedge is Mashiach, they didn't get the Mashiach, still belongs to the Yisayimim. They can change their mind. Zoil, if went down in value, so the guy will say, well, I didn't do Mashiach yet, I want to walk away. So this is the case of Chanolei Bayidi. Again, that's what I think that they should be like a Hegyet and they should walk away. The Yisayimim. Sorry, they should be like Hegdish. That money is that Hegdish money is a king here too, and too bad it went down the price. Even though you didn't Mashiach, the buyer didn't do Mashiach, you gave me the money, you're stuck. I'm not sure again it's bad. They might need money. They have to sell things to make money, and nobody's gonna give them money until I get the goods in my hand. So you have to think. Rav Shisha is saying you can't just look at the short term. You might win the battle, but you lose the war. You got to think of the long term. I know, but we once signed a story on the document, the email, the Zira, Yasm. We once signed on the document of Zira, the same of Zira, the Mezavna Ada, they had to sell property, the cargo, they had to sell it for taxes, and we sold it below Achrasta. Usually, before you sell it for an auction, you have to announce it for 30 days. Here, to get the best price. Here, because of the pressure that had to be done straight away, we did it without doing this achraza, and just to protect the Yisayimim. The cargo, when it comes to pay taxes, and the karura or to bury, or mezavni b'lechrasta, you don't have to make the achraza to get the best price because we don't have time. There's pressure, we don't have time.
There's a government tax.
Yes, that's how Ashland. Yeah. Um, we're talking about on behalf of of other people in the house, so not the same for the wife, the daughters, and the chiddushes we take for them as well without waiting the 30-day period that they have to have. Yeah. Teisha said, "Kura can't mean to bury the person. Of course, you bury a person. You can wait 30 days when we were to have them. It means that you say borrowed money in order to bury their father, and now the person wants to get paid back. So even though it's a loan and you know they can wait, the person already buried. No, for that sake, we want people to be ready to lend the money straight away for the moment, and you pay back as soon as you can. Thinking about it further, Amram Tzabo, Arbam, the one who died, who should die things, color things. He was an executive of the state, he was an administrator. Also, the relatives again, they started to malign this particular administrator. They said, "Come, lavish umichse, miyasme." He dresses the finest, but he's a poor guy. How does he afford it? He takes it from the state to save him. Amr Nachman says nothing wrong. He has to look like a mensch. If you want people to listen to him, he has to look the part. He has to drive the Mercedes, and he has to dress and wear a suit and a tie. He has to look the part, just for their benefit. He's eating very well, nicely, and Medidu must be from the kids, from the orphans' estate. Because he has no money. So the Rabbi said, "Why do you jump to the conclusion that he's a ganef? Maybe he won the lottery, or he found a beautiful object, and he made money on the side. Why do we assume that he took from them? That's you're maligning them. Look, mafsid, he's causing them all kinds of losses. The stage, he's not taking care of their properties the way he should. The mafsid, okay, bring me witnesses. That's true, and then I will depose of him. Or at least we'll fire him. Chavrin mashmeder apatruf. Rabbeinu Chavrin says neighbor apatruf mashmeder neighbor Rab. Apatruf is the mafsid misal kinulei, and apatruf is that's causing a loss. So the same, of course, we fire him. These we learned. Apatruf is the mafsid. Rabbeinu Amar Rab misal you fire him. Rab Sheila Amar Lei misal kinulei. I was trying to understand why Reb Shela says you don't give. He's supposed to help. We had all these takanas in place to help the Yisraelim and not to harm them. Here you have an administrator that is harming them, and yet he says loy misal kinulei, and we know that for a fact, and yet you don't fire him. Why not?
Maybe
okay,
that's appointed by the father.
Usually, but it was either appointed by the father or by the bezin, and it seems to be in all cases. It doesn't make a distinction there. In all cases, Apatrufus is a. Now, the truth of the matter, who cares who appointed him? If it turns out to be that he's a failure and he's harming his son, why shouldn't he be fired? Let's say it's not on purpose. It's lo useless. Exactly. You ever met such people that lo useless? Yeah. The Midas touch, all the gold he touches turns into dust. Or anti-Midas touch. So what's that? I don't know. The Hilchus himself yeah. I don't know. Thinking about further, he swears my time, but why? We're not worried that he's not going to take the job on because he loved the Isla Hanom and remember we lived before that like a matana, like mecher because you don't give matanas unless you have a reason. Same thing here. Why in the world? It's not just a favor, one-off thing. Give me a piece of bread or give me some flour, lend me something. Here you want him to spend time and effort and it's a thankless task. Doesn't get paid for it. So why is he doing it? Obviously he owes something to this man. The person saved him when he had to, so he's not going to walk away just because of the shore. He loved the Isla Hanom, and if it wouldn't have been for the fact that he somehow another benefit from him, he would never accept the job. If you're going to insist that he has to swear as well that he never took anything, he's not going to walk away. However, I mean, don't swear. You know why? He doesn't owe anything to the bezin. He's doing a favor, and if you can make it difficult, if you're going to make him swear, he'll walk away. Abba Shaw says, this is his logic. My time. Minu bezin. If a bezin appointed you, that means you're on the list, short list of bezin of people that are trustworthy. Then you shava swear because the benefit that you now have a good name. Shua is not going to deter you. But here another konofical color. If it comes out the reputation, the Inish Mahemnu is a reliable person, man with integrity. Now some of the bezin trusts him. Just has to swear he's not going to walk away. If he's doing the guy a favor, maybe he shouldn't swear because okay, I'm doing a favor. I owed you something, but it's not enough to make me swear. Halacha is like Abba Shaul. Halacha like Abba Shaul. The Tanya we learn the B'rai said Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov disagrees. Rabbi Yaakov disagrees. And what is that? He holds that in both instances, I don't care who appointed you, you have to swear. The halacha is like a Blazer and Yaakov. So here you have an interesting competing halachas. On one hand, it says before the halacha like Shmuel, and then we have a general rule that Blazer and Yaakov, even though he didn't say too many things, Mishnah say Kavod Nafik, whenever he says something halacha like him. So who should you pass like? And that's his long chase they're trying to work out. Who should you pass like? Torah B'Chaliv B'Marav Kamei Rabu, the B'Chalifa was a little Rabu, Bar Ma'arav, person of the West. Kamei Rabu, Apatrufa Shemini Avi Yisraim, Apatrufa that was appointed by the Avi Yisraim, Mishavi swears if Neshu Noise Sachar. He says that Patrufas that are appointed by the father, you swear, you do swear, and this is like, and why do you swear? If Neshu Noise Sachar, you're getting paid for it. You're getting paid. Swear. At ISIS Kabba the Chayla, you bring this pot and you fill it up, or everything up at Rufus gets paid, allow them to do him a favor. Pro bono. Who can because since it's the benefit, he has a benefit from it, his reputation, or he gets a benefit that he feels good because he did a guy a favor. Therefore, it's like a noise sacher, and therefore you have to swear. Says the Mishnah. Now we have a concept called a hezek she'ein a nikkel. We heard it before already. A hezek that's not noticeable. Now tell you are potter, but we'll see machlekes tomorrow actually. But with Rabbanu we cancel usually. You shouldn't go ahead and cause people damage. So the Mishnah, hamatame. If I go out and I take a sheretz, one of the 8 different kinds of animals that cause generate tumah, and I placed it on your truma or on your chulin, on your taris, or hamadame. I take truma and I mix it with chulin. Now, in the first case, if it's truma and I put a sheretz there, I rendered it useless. If I take chulin, I make it tummy. Anybody eats tar can't eat it. Hamadame, I take truma, I mix it with chulin. It still has value because a kohen you can sell it to a kohanim, and okay, lost some of its value because much less demand. Menasech is pouring wine. A menasech pouring wine usually means for avodah zarah, yain avodah zarah. We'll see that case. Is b'sheigi potter mezich? B'sheigi you are potter because hezek shein and nikah. But if it's amazing, we're going to cancel you and you give a chayiv. Says the Gemara. Eat what we learn. Menasech. What's this menasech we're talking about? The Rav says menasech mamish. Rav says you mamish menasech. Now, interesting. Menasech normally means you take wine. I mean, you would have lifted the barrel and poured it in front of avodah zarah. Rashi says, and then before you try to work out why, you put your finger into the wine and you're stirring the wine and having in mind avodah zarah. Now, why Rashi changes the plan? In other words, you didn't lift it to be kind of first, and then you did the nisuch.
Just done
it. And you ruined it. We'll see in a minute why. Shmuel says ma'arev, that he says no. Nasach means you took some yain nesach and mix it with regular wine. You didn't try to steal it and make yain holding yain nesach. That's the Gemara. Let's go through this. My time. Why does it menasech? That you have to pay if you did it deliberately. I'm looking. Why? Menasech kamla b'drabene. If you're menasech avodah zarah, you get chayiv misa for that. And we have a rule that if you did one act and there are 2 punishments, one is monetary and one is capital punishment, is malchus the same thing, and what do you call it? And money is kam limited. You give them the stricter punishment. So if you're menasech, you wouldn't pay for the wine at all. Nu vidach kid Rabbi Yirmiyah like Rabbi Yirmiyah. What Rabbi Yirmiyah say? Rabbi Yirmiyah. Mishas hagbah hu dekana. Mischai benafshel lahavashazich. It's not simultaneous. It's not concurrent. You pick up the barrel, you became a ganef, and then you poured it, you ruined it. So therefore, the pouring is what brings you the capital punishment. Lifting the wine makes you pay the money. It didn't happen simultaneously, so therefore you will pay. That's what the Rav says. Shmuel says, since you cannot pour the wine unless you lift it up first, therefore, because Shmuel says you cannot pour the wine unless you lift it up first, it's what do you call it? It will still say kam lebe derabbe, as if the nisach started from the moment you picked it up. And that's why maybe Rashi wants to learn before. Rav says that you stir the wine, you don't even pick it up. That's why you chayiv.
Rashi also said that that's the derech avodah, that particular avodah.
Yeah.
If some guy puts his hand in the wine barrel,
yeah,
it doesn't make it.
You're right.
Unless that's the way.
Yeah, but that because we're pushing Rashi to learn that, we'd rather just have nesach. Okay, so the further. We actually had more, so that's the machlekes here. If we say that that according to Rab, we don't say that since the only way to pour it is by lifting it, Therefore, it's as if the pouring already started the moment you're lifting it. Because Aksuva did Aflamed, Aleph, he learned Shat why the difference in throwing an arrow or you're walking with it is because you can always stop in the middle. Once you throw an arrow, you can't stop it. Here also, you could stop in the middle. So therefore, since every step of the way, even when after you picked up the wine, you don't have to pour it, you can stop. Therefore, the pouring doesn't start until you decided to pour. That's Rav. And Shmuel holds like Shmuel holds no. That since the only way to pouring is by lifting it, that's what when you throw an arrow. Since the only way to land by the other person is you have to throw it from the beginning, it's as if it started from the moment you threw it. Talking about it further, the principle is the same. Okay, you mix truma with chulin, or you mix the ayin nesach with the ayin kosher. It's the same principle. V'idach knasu. And so in other words, you say you can compare two knasim to each other. The other opinion, Rav says knasu. The paying for this is a hezek shein and nikah, so merely it's a penalty. You cannot compare penalties. Every penalty is different, and therefore you cannot say, oh, but similar, let's equate the two. You can't do that. So why do you need three different cases? The principle is the same. You're a hezek shein nikah, we penalize you if you didn't make it. Each one has a novelty that the one didn't have. So now, what we metame? If the case is truma, have a minister to come after the gamri. If it's truma, you can't eat anymore. You ruined it completely, so you have to re-penalize you. But you metame all the other things which didn't completely ruin it. Maybe it's different. The metame chulin. If you metame chulin, in mishum asaling to you didn't have Ada. You went ahead. You're not allowed to generate tumah in chulin to chulin net as well. You did, so therefore we penalize you. I know everything else. But if you mix it from chulin, there's no avera here. Maybe it will penalize you. The yashmi medame mishum l'shkiach is common. When it comes to metame l'shkiach, it's not common that people go around with shorts and metame the people. Maybe it will penalize you. The yashmi, if we knew both of them, metame medame, I would say we should like kimud rabbaneh. There's no kimud rabbaneh there, and therefore you have to, we're going to penalize you. I would have thought the I would have thought I would have thought in the case of Manasseh, since you're going to get killed for it, you don't pay the money. Kamashlan, that itself is a chiddush that we pass like Rabbi Yirmiyah, that it did not happen concurrently. You lifted the wine, you became a ganef. When you poured it, that's when you became your usher and the Rabbi Zara. The Tani Avud Oven. This was Rabbi Wood, the same Rabbi Oven said, but it's showing in the beginning, started out, they only penalized Metame Vanasach, only those two. Later on, they added Medame. They also, the way you lived before, the last thing that was added on was Manasseh. But according to Abu Oven, who's the father of Oven, who said that the last thing they added on was Medame, you were a little bit between Manasseh and Metame. You already know Medame as well, which is a much lesser penalty. Much lesser. Call Hani Lomali Sich when you Iash be Metame, should like Kimadabne. If you only told me Metame, because there's no Kimadabne involved. I will Manasseh the Kimadabne, but not I would have thought of Manasseh. You don't pay the money because you get killed for it. Aim a light. The Iash be Manasseh should come after the Gami, you can make a total loss. I will Metame the Manasseh Gami didn't completely by Truma, even Truma. Why? You can use it for a candle, you can give it to your animals to feed. It's not so total. Aim a light. The Iash be had these Truma should have some ruba, it's a big loss. I will Medame when you make the Truma, not a big loss. They have some wood. Aim a light. Therefore, you need them more.